All right, so we are back. Football with the Great American Youth Playoffs edition. We are back.
Welcome back.
We aren't in the playoffs, I guess, but we're going to be talking about the playoffs. We have a special episode, probably the most coordinated special episode of this podcast so far. So we're excited. Let's get into
Let's
it.
get into it. Yeah.
All right, so I guess first things first. NFL stories got to start there. Baker, he's back. After what was like 48 hours, less than 3 days in LA, comes on, replaces John Wolford, whoever it is. It's Baker. He comes in, wins the game on a last second or, game-winning touchdown to Van Jefferson. Great game. Baker's going to start in LA for the rest of this year. And nice to see him revive. Maybe he's going to earn himself a starting job someplace next year with his performances in LA. So cool to see Baker be back and doing his thing.
Definitely has a chance for that. And then Lions, they kind of took control over the Vikings. They obviously they won by almost, I think it was like they won by 7 or 8 at the end. But they were in control the whole game. At the very end, it came down to fourth down conversion, and they got it with the Penei Sewell catch there. As you can see, no one really expected that, and it kind of is becoming a meme. So yeah, it's a big win there. Another big game in the NFC was, I guess, more for the Cowboys. Cowboys against the Texans. Texans were winning the whole game pretty much. They looked shaky. Didn't look good. Barely at the end, the Cowboys, I think they had like a 95-yard drive to go down and score, but they barely pulled it off. I mean, still a good win, but I don't see them taking the top seed in the NFC. I think the Eagles are probably going to hold on to that, even if they lose that game to the Cowboys later on. And I mean, obviously the Texans have the number 1 seed pretty much locked up at this point, so no implications there. Yeah.
So upset of the week, got to go with the Panthers over the Seahawks. The Panthers, they've been a weird team. I mean, since losing McCaffrey, it seemed like they've been playing better. I think it was Darnold started. They've had a weird QB carousel, but Darnold's starting and he's winning them games. The Seahawks have been pretty good this year too. Their defense has been revived. The running game has been kind of consistent. They were missing their top options in this game, which has probably contributed to why they lost. I'm sure if they had Kenneth Walker or I think it was DJ Dallas too available, they probably would have done better. But Panthers picked up the win. Big victory for the Panthers, and I guess pushing themselves away from the top pick, but showing some signs of life, even though they're not a playoff team at this point.
I mean, Seahawks kind of falling out of playoff contention. I mean, kind of helps out other teams. I'm not going to talk about that yet, but it's kind of big there. The other big game in the NFC was the blowout of the week. 49ers, Brock Purdy basically taking down Tom Brady in his first career start.
Mr.
Irrelevant taking down Tom Brady. Who would have ever thought? 35, I think the score is 35-0 at one point, and they basically blew them out the whole game. And I don't even know what to say. Brady just didn't look good. The whole offense didn't look good. The defense, I mean, you're going up against one of the best offenses. Debo got hurt at the end, but
yeah.
Besides, you take the quarterback position out of that, like their offense is built to run without a good quarterback, and it really showed that game. So, yeah, I think 49ers are a scary team in the NFC. Buccaneers, they're on the verge right now. They can hang on. The Panthers catching up there. I think they're only a game now in the NFC South, so that'll be interesting to watch.
All right, and then Commanders check in. We had a bye this week, but as Jacob was saying, those games, important matchups to us. We're now in the 6th seed. Right now, we're tied for the 6th seed with the Giants in the playoff race. And looking at our final, our last 4 matchups of the week, we have the Giants next week, which is
that's a must win.
Yeah, that's a must win. Another divisional matchup, week 18. Then sandwich in between those, another playoff team in San Francisco, week 16, and then the Browns, not a playoff team right now, but with Deshaun back, I mean, they're not a team you can overlook. So 4 difficult games for the rest of the season, but I mean, the playoffs are still a realistic shot. I don't know if you split these games, if we can get at least 2 wins out of this, finish 9-5-1, that could be a playoff team.
9-7-1, but yeah.
Or 9-7, yeah, 9-7-1, yeah.
I think the Giants is a must win at this point. I think San Francisco, that's gonna be a tough game. I really don't see us winning that one. I think we could the Cleveland and Dallas, we gotta take one of those. It really comes down to that. And winning the Giants game. So hopefully that happens. Let's get into the scores from last week.
Yeah, so I guess final week of the regular season, and yeah, I guess these matchups, I guess, determined what happened. We went over them last week. We'll go through these quickly, but I guess you unfortunately lost to Adwin. We'll be talking to him very shortly. Ian taking the win over Yusuke, securing his top spot. Matt Levin beating Sammy, Matt Cohen beating Joel, and then I ended up beating Alex. So, I guess some interesting matchups, a very pivotal week in the playoff race. And yeah, I guess from that, we can just get into the standings and you can see who's in and who's out. So yeah, I'll let you take that.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I mean, not too many major changes. I mean, Adwin snuck into the playoffs. I fell to the last seed, or not last seed, worst team in the league. And it really comes down to that first game in the losers bracket, which we'll get into later. That'll pretty much determine who's the loser of this league, unfortunately. But yeah, Joel fell out, who we had on last week. Yusuke unfortunately fell out too. And yeah, Ian and Sammy on bye this week. Ian kind of took over that number one seed, kind of solidified himself as the number one team in this league right now going into the playoffs, but we'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at that losers bracket.
Yeah, so I guess starting with us, we have the unfortunate eliminated teams. Starting with us, obviously, me, you. Poor performances from us this year. Not really anything we were hoping for. Oh,
your screen's it's getting messed up a little bit.
This is not what I wanted. All right.
I'll talk about this real quick. So yeah, losers bracket. Unfortunately, I mean, Joel, we'll get into this later. Joel barely lost last week, and he's been eliminated. He will pretty much be safe from last place. He won't be playing Adwin. That is a mistake. He will be playing Yusuke. Yeah, and as you can see, those are the eliminated two at the bottom, and then me and Anthony will be playing in the last place game. Before we get into the playoffs, we will be having our guests joining us. We're just waiting for them to get the Zoom link and enter. We unfortunately only have 3. Unfortunately, Adwin will not be able to join tonight. And the 2 people on bye will not be joining as well because they have nothing to talk about. They have a free week.
Go to the playoffs. Let them hopefully come in sooner rather than later. We have one who's on time.
Okay, here we go. Who would have thought Matt would be first? How you doing, Matt?
Good. Good to be back.
I believe you were the first one who came on.
Good for you, Matt. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
You made it back. You're here for the playoffs. We can't complain. We have another one coming in now.
Alex. What's up, Alex?
Yeah, I guess just going through the matchups though. Matt, like we were saying, Adwin not here. So unfortunately, Matt, without an opponent to speak to today, but
me and Anthony will speak on his behalf. We have a message as well from Adwin himself.
You have a message from the man that we will deliver to you. And yes,
very long message. It'll be condensed a little bit. Oh, and here are the last 2, Alex and Matt. Here we go.
All right, boys.
Matt.
Comes on after some slight. All here.
Oh, we made it.
We're here.
We did it.
Playoff brackets. I guess Ian and Sammy, they're the bye week, so we're not talking to them. They don't matter right now. We're talking to the guys who are playing this week. Levin against Adwin, Alex and Cohen. We got everyone who clinched up there. And I guess, yeah, do y'all got anything you want to say? You've all been on. You've all introduced yourselves, but think about how you got here, how you feel about making it to the playoffs.
Just happy to be here. My first playoff appearance, and I don't know how long I was due, and here I am. So just happy to be here.
Congrats, Matt.
I'll I'll add just very thankful to the Patriots defense for allowing me to be a part of this video. I wouldn't be there without it. So don't really give Bill Belichick much credit in my life, but
Shout
thank
out.
you, Bill, for putting this together.
You gotta respect that. Shout out.
I'm praying the third seed does not win. Matthew Levine.
Keep trying on my downfall. I like it.
Yeah,
The
we're all,
odds are against you, Matt. Let's see what happens.
Underdog.
Your team deserves downfall, Matt. And
you might be up for the whole matchup, but just like the Ravens, you'll blow the lead in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Oh, that's a low blow.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's get into these matchups. First up, we got Matt and Alex. Matt is actually the 5 seed. I should say 5, but
oh, god damn it. Yes, okay. I should-
it shows it at the
You know what?
bottom.
I'll take the disrespect.
So
I
close.
appreciate it. Here, it's a chip on our shoulder. We like that here at Team Cohen.
Awesome. So as you guys can see, there's your photo. You guys are about to square off. Do you guys have anything you want to say? How did you guys get here? Obviously, you guys played in week 7, and Matt Cohen took that victory. Do you think that indicates anything? Go ahead. Just start talking about your matchup.
I can go first. I guess I would say, at least on my team's perspective, that was actually caught me kind of at an interesting week. So that was so I was the first guest on the show. So it's been a minute since I've been on here, but since then, I think like half my team got injured. So this week against Alex was like a bit of a transition week where it was like Kenneth Walker's first week as the starter in Seattle after Rashad Penny got hurt. And it was also Breece Hall's week where he tore his ACL. So it was just a horrific week of just kind of switching my running backs. At that point, I thought I had I drafted Breece Hall in the 9th round. I drafted Kenneth Walker as well. I thought I'd skirted my way into having like 2 RB1s all of a sudden. And then Breece Hall immediately got hurt. I also had Javonte Williams, who proceeded to get hurt the week after I was on the podcast. So that was fun. So this was kind of my first real. Honestly, this was one of the healthiest weeks my team's ever been all season. So I guess I would take that as it is a possibility of what could happen. You never know how many touchdowns Kenneth Walker's going to score, Jamar Chase is going to score. But that all said, I don't have Breece Hall anymore. I haven't had him for a while, and I'm starting potentially Isaiah Pacheco this week. So I think things have changed a lot since then. But I gotta love my wide receiver group thing. Before I let Alex talk about his group over there that will be trying to deal with these fast, strong, touchdown scoring wide receivers we got over here.
Yeah, listen, like I'm actually pretty worried about this matchup. I'm not gonna lie. I was taking a look at Cohen's team, and I mean it's pretty like if I just read out his receivers, it's already like pretty scary. He has Chase Brown and Jalen Waddle. So that's like 2 out of 3 of those guys like usually go off any given week. I feel like so it's like we'll see what happens. I mean, I like my team. I think I have had a lot of like injuries, and I'm really annoyed about Leonard Fournette. But that being said, I have Brian Robinson, and he gets an absurd amount of carries a game. And if the game script goes good against the Giants, I think Robinson could potentially have at least a touchdown and 20 carries for like 85 yards or something like that.
Definitely
If
possible.
if we can play like how we want to play against the
If
Giants.
we win, that's gonna happen.
Exactly. That's like the game script to
That
win.
needs to happen if we're gonna win.
Exactly. And then Ayuk, I mean, Ayuk is also like one of those guys. It's just like he needs a good quarterback to help him out, but also
Purdy's not good enough for you?
I like Ayuk now, especially because Debo's hurt.
Yeah, with Debo out, he's
But-
fantastic.
But I mean, I hope Brock Purdy's good enough for me because I mean he was only targeted 3 times last weekend. I know they blew him out, but like it wasn't like he was getting the ball. But that's fine. I mean, next week's a new week. It's against the Seahawks, so that game could be really, really high scoring. possibly. I don't know. I'm happy with my team. I need Mike Williams to step up though, because I'm looking at his team and I'm scared of his wide receivers. And Kenneth Walker could go off too. Um, it's a good matchup though. I firmly believe that if I lose this week, I hope Cohen goes all the way.
I think we have the most of any of the playoff matchups here. We have the most like mutual respect here. Like this is a very loving, supportive playoff matchup. Like we want the other to succeed. We're not out here rooting on it. We're only rooting on one person's downfall on this call, and it's not my opponent this week. I think. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
That both of y'all are like have been pretty unproblematic. I don't think either one of y'all, like we were talking about Cohen, we just kind of pity your team for the injuries. This just kind of happens to you every year. You just like, score a lot of points and then nothing really comes of it. And Alex, you were just, I mean, you were like one of the top teams. You've just kind of been like in that top middle, like in the playoffs, but like
upper middle class.
Yeah, so you've been upper middle class this whole time. So it's not really like, I don't know, you just like nothing to annoy, like not so good that you're annoying, but like not so bad that I feel like I need to compete with you.
You know what the thing is? Oh, I feel like fantasy football is like, so if your team's not like OP, right? Like if you don't have an OP team that's just gonna destroy everybody, everyone kind of has a chance usually. Like, and if you can just get to the playoffs, if you can get yourself in the playoffs, you always have a chance. Unless you're Matt. What do you
We'll see about that. We'll see.
Oh, I hope no one.
I really think this is the most wide open playoffs we've had in a long. Like there is, I think like one through
Anybody can
2
win.
and then 4 through 6. I would think that
Anyone
pretty
can
much
win.
everyone's got a chance in there.
I'm gonna make some noise. I'll be back here next week.
We haven't got.
I would like to know that. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say I would like to know that of the people on this Zoom call right now, I'm fairly certain Matt has like the third or fourth most points scored this year, and 2 people on this call aren't in the playoffs.
Hey,
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm fairly confident that's
6 in a
true.
row. 6 in a row.
He has won 6 in a row, but
6
no
in
one's
a row
more than 98
against
points.
teams that haven't scored over 100 points.
You've won 6 in a row.
including myself twice.
That's
I
brutal.
didn't know he'd won 6 in a row. That's
All right, we'll get into Matt Levin more later. Matt, you should really be muted right now, honestly.
Yeah. I think
It's like around the horn. We got to give him the mute
on this
button.
podcast, Matt. I could take your privileges away.
All right, I apologize to the hosts.
Now, I guess any final things with y'all's matchup,
Can I
Alex?
just say one more thing.
Yeah, go.
Oh my God. I really wish Dak Prescott knew how to throw the ball. Like, what is going through that dude's head? Like,
That whole drive, they ran it.
oh
They-
my God.
There's
Do you
no
guys
drive.
watch CeeDee Lamb play football? Like, he's actually like crazy talented. Like, I hate the Cowboys with all my like everything in my body, but like he's actually really good.
Alex, CD Lamb or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin, come on.
Okay, well you're
For
kind of
me.
sucking off CD right now, so I was just asking.
For the the Commander.
I mean, to that point, only one of those 2 players is going to partake in this matchup, and it's not Terry McLaurin.
That's true.
I will say kind of just one more thing on this on this matchup. What honestly a super interesting piece of this could be, I think, the defense matchup, because both of our defenses are playing offenses that have a crap ton of turnovers, and both defenses that have been good this season.
Definitely.
Like the Patriots defense for me will randomly just get up like 20 points or like a touchdown, have like 4 sacks or whatever. And like the Commanders have a really good defense. So I would not be shocked if like the defenses each put up like 12, 15 points here, and it becomes like it comes down. I mean, do we have, I don't remember who plays what. I think we may have a couple Monday nighters this week. That could be wrong. I'm not sure. But this is like, I think we have a couple of really intriguing ones, just matchups in this. I think the Thursday night San Francisco Seattle game is going to be an important one. Like Kenneth Walker has been so inefficient the last couple of weeks, but just scores a lot of touchdowns.
Is he
And
supposed to
now,
play?
I think he's gonna play what it seems to be. If not, I'll put Najee Harris in, and it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's what I have to
My
do.
boy.
Yeah, I got Najee from Jacob, and then the only good performance Najee's had all season was to help me beat Jacob and like
course.
about 3 weeks ago.
This
Which
man.
ended up being a crucial matchup that I needed to get into the playoffs. I got in on the last day. All the injuries. I was 6-7 on the last day. I was playing Joel, who, actually, so we didn't talk about this. Yeah, we had roasted Joel's team as being fraudulent, even compared to Matt's team as being fraudulent all season. And I finally slayed it the last week of the year. We got Joel out of the play. Now, this is no disrespect to Joel. We love Joel on the podcast. He's a friend of the pod, but it was time, and I'm sorry that it came down to the very end of the season. It's some very tough ending for him. I think he
He
scored
didn't deserve to have 7 wins. Let's just be real. He didn't
Was that
deserve
Had the same amount as Joel this
It
year.
was at the expense of Adwin making the playoffs. I mean, that was the replacement, but
which is probably worse.
yeah, I was saying not that either one of them deserves it really, but
I believe Atwin's also scored more points than Matt for what it's worth.
I don't think
I'm
that's
not
true.
100%
I
sure.
think
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
I think I'm
that's
like
true.
4th or 5th. I put some respect on my name.
wait, let's see. 14
I'm not
7.
100% sure.
Okay, you have over 1,500. Okay, Matt. Okay.
Yeah. See,
Or
this
fifth.
blasphemy, fake news.
Yeah, but he also
I
has
have
like
more
the
than
fewest
you,
points
though.
against.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he
wait,
has
I went back to
less
roasting
points
Matt.
than
I'm
you.
sorry. It was just
Barely
a
above you.
tendency. It was a habit deep inside me to just go to roasting Matt. So I apologize.
All right. Well,
I don't blame you.
we'll finally, we'll give Matt his opportunity to speak. We'll let Matt talk about his matchup. Before we let Matt talk, Adwin isn't here, but we have a message from him that I guess we'd like to share directly from him. So Jacob, I think you have that.
Let's go. So this is on behalf of Adwin. It might look like I just snuck into the playoffs by pure luck, but if you look at the stats, my team has been pretty insane to end the year. I've scored the most points in the league, went in 3 of the 4 last weeks, and I went 4-2 since making the trade with Jacob to get Amon-Ra, Olave, and Pollard before week 9. That trade saved my season. Thanks,
Jacob, can you read?
Yeah, so that's the beginning. Matt, do you have anything to say to that?
I have a lot to say to that, honestly. First of all, Adwin, rookie of the league, can't even make it on the podcast. It really shows that, he just doesn't have the heart. He doesn't care enough, And you know what I have? I have the heart. I've been playing this for years. It's my first time in the playoffs since who knows how long. And they say clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. So
fair enough. All right, we got more in this message. I'll keep going if you want to rebuttal this in a sec. Looking at my matchup with Matt, he's projected to outscore me by about 5 points, but I'm comfortable with that. I have Jonathan Taylor coming back from a bye week, Pollard, who's been playing out of his mind for the last few weeks, and a strong group of receivers and a solid amount of choices for my flex. I feel like my team is pretty balanced when compared to Matt's team, which is crazy top heavy. Jefferson and Hill have been carrying him through his weak schedule to end the season. They're both great, and Matt went 9-7 for a reason. But outside of those two,
9-5.
Nobody really scares me that much. All it takes is one dud game from either of them, and I like my chances. That's all he's got. Matt, what do you want to say?
Well, I guess I'll just talk about my team. Herbert's been clicking at the right time. Honestly, everybody's been clicking at the right time. Like I said, I've won 6 in a row. I got Jones and Montgomery off bye week this week. So if he wants to talk about Taylor bye week, I got that. Plus, I got Dobbins back, who last week went off, and he's looking great. No Lamar, which means they're going to run the ball a lot. Dalton Schultz has been getting targets and red zone looks. And then, of course, Jefferson and Hill he's right about that. They are carrying my team. And, they're I don't think I've lost a wide receiver matchup this year because of that. So, plus I got the GOAT kicker of all time, Justin Tucker, who don't sleep on that, has won me a few games this year. And then I got 3 solid defenses, still trying to figure out which one I want to play right now. I got Steelers defense in against Carolina, but I also got Cowboys, Ravens D on the bench. So riding or dying.
I mean, I don't know, Matt. You're projected for more right now, but I don't know. I just
I don't know what don't you see? I mean,
His team isn't that bad.
I just I'd really like to see Adwin win.
I wouldn't
no,
mind it either.
like I said, Adwin can't even make on the podcast. Not a true league member.
I'm just frustrated that we had such an irrelevant trade and that David Montgomery should be worthless. He is worthless. He's
Not
garbage.
worth it. He's been really good.
Khalil Herbert's better.
He's injured.
Yeah, what I'm saying, that's like so lucky. You've benefited. Cohen, you're muted.
Well, that'd be a problem. That's
Yes.
I was trying to say something of roasting Matt about how many defenses he had because I was having like there were so many weeks where I was like trying to find a good streaming defense before I kind of ended up with the Patriots, which have been really good. But I like couldn't find any on the waiver wire. Now I couldn't figure out why. Now I know Matt had them all the whole time.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, it's good. No one else can get them.
Instead, it was a good move. I respect it. I mean, I ended up with the Patriots. I'm happy, but like it was a good move. I will also note on the Montgomery thing.
He's hoarding defenses and Ravens running backs. This is disgusting.
So I mean,
Notice that.
Big
I
crap.
mean, well, I haven't followed super close. Like, how has the fact that they've let Justin Fields kind of run the ball more had an impact on David Montgomery?
David Montgomery, I mean, he's benefited. He's been, if you look at the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's been doing better than he was in the start of the year.
When Khalil Herbert, it
Great.
had to do with Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert was taking over and he got hurt, regardless of like.
Who cares about Khalil Herbert? He's not playing this week. I'm still playing.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the only reason that David Montgomery is doing it. You're not listening.
So what? So what? You lost the trade, Anthony. All your players got a trade. You got hurt. You lost.
You're gonna lose this week. And you're
Whoa.
teach you.
Last
This
place.
isn't gonna matter.
Last place.
I kind of want to ask.
I'm not
Alex,
even last. I'm not last.
I want Alex
won the
to kind of
league now.
speak on behalf of Adwin. Do
I
you think
will.
Adwin has a chance to beat Matt, and
Yes.
why?
100%. I'll tell you why. Because Adwin has Adwin has 3 players. Okay, I could see realistically Tony Pollard. We all know how good Tony Pollard is, right? There's genuinely a chance against the Jaguars that Tony Pollard runs for like 130 yards. There's actually a
Huge
chance of
touchdowns.
that. I don't know if he'll run for it, but he will combine for like 125 yards, right? Like that could happen against the Jaguars. Who knows? Like, and besides that, Jonathan Taylor. Okay, we know how disappointing he's been, but I feel like he's gotten it going right recently. No,
He's going against Minnesota. Minnesota let up a lot of yards to Swift last week, right?
I mean I'm comparing the
Forgetting the
teams.
Colts offense is atrocious.
Here's the deal though. When you look at fantasy matchup, like I'm looking at both your teams. If you ask me which team is better, I will say Matt's team is better. Do I think it's better by the amount where this is like, oh, Matt's winning? No shot. No
Definitely.
shot.
I agree.
Because if it's like reasonably close, then it'll be close. That's just how it usually works.
And,
If you-
And so the projections only mean so much. Like
No,
Alex projected to beat me by 3 points. Like who knows? Like
no, it doesn't mean it.
yeah.
And,
If you look at my team, like outside of Montgomery, this starting lineup is literally the starting lineup that like I drafted. Like this is the first time I was able to play this lineup since week 1. So I'm excited. So
I would be
respect that.
I would be excited if I were you because your team is really really well balanced actually. But I just hope you lose.
I
Okay, I
think
can believe
most
that.
people in the league concur, but
I mean, if there was any praise for Matt does have the best wide receiver duo in our league. That is, I think.
I mean,
without-
he's 1-2. It's not even like
how did we allow for him to get
Oh.
Justin Jefferson and Tyreek?
Well,
And
see,
Aaron Jones.
I look back at the draft order. We kind of screwed up. Because we had so many just horrific picks in the second and third
We
round.
can never draft that garbage. I feel like next year is gonna be like the bet. Like next year's draft, I'm just interested for because we all drafted so garbage this year. I feel like everyone's gonna
So bad.
have to switch up.
I mean, imagine taking a tight end 12th overall and it wasn't Travis Kelce. Like, who would do that? I don't know. Better than me.
Yeah.
I think we also just thought like Tyreek Hill was like, changing teams. We didn't know what he was going to be like on a new team. So, I mean, I get it, but it also ended up it worked out really well. Like, I mean, who would have thought that Tua would be as good as he's been? I mean, I've had Tua as my quarterback for a few weeks. Like, he hasn't been as good the past few weeks. Been like kind couple sub 20-point days in a row, but like I don't think anyone thought Tua was going to be like the Pro Bowl leader in the AFC this season, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle really benefited from that. So I guess in some respects, like the Tyreek Hill ended up being almost a steal because he really, based on production, should have gone in the first round, and he would have. He was on the Chiefs probably, but I think he also just proved that he's not a Mahomes. He's not like just a product of Mahomes. He's actually a really good receiver, which not that we doubted it, but he fully proved it.
He proved himself. He definitely did.
I mean, yeah, I just like to say that, Adwin shouldn't even be here. The only reason he's only here is because Yusuke only got 3 points with 4 players.
Yusuke kind of bottled it a little bit.
It was kind of sad for Yusuke there,
That
but
was a dope job, I think. And he's had weeks like that before this year, right? Like in this year, he had like a couple weeks where he like forgot to start someone, or
yeah. It was Kamara was playing in that London game.
yeah, like he has the mental lapses in his game.
If you think about it, if he didn't make that mistake, he probably wins that game against me. And,
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. His team is good.
Adwin just kind of made playoffs like by process of elimination. Me and Jacob's team are both kind of garbage, and then Yusuke he just doesn't have the it factor. He doesn't have it. Adwin sets his lineups every week, so
Adwin puts in his work. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but you can't make the pod.
It was a work matter. I mean, you can't really get out of work sometimes. I respect that.
No heart. No heart.
Sorry, what? What'd you say? No what?
No heart.
No what?
Heart? What?
I'm just making sure. I couldn't understand you.
All right, well, we got any parting messages? Any last messages from Matt about your matchup, and then just from all of y'all, any parting messages for the pod for this season? Unless you're a winner, if any of you guys win, we'll see you hopefully for a final episode. So maybe give us your final messages to the audience.
Yeah. So this is all of our last episode.
Unless you win.
No, it's all of our last episode.
Oh well, maybe it's Matt's last episode for sure.
We'll see. I look forward to Sammy next week. That's all I'll say. And yeah.
Wow, that's bold. I would keep those receipts.
I'll see you in Cancun, Matt.
I would like to wish everyone luck in these.
I'm due.
I wish everyone a successful, injury-free playoff, and may the points flow ever in your favor, including Matt.
I'm due. Keep doubting. I'm due. Statistics. Looking for my first playoff win since I don't even know when I'm due.
Matt is the Seattle Mariners.
You're playing the rookie though, Matt. It would be kind of embarrassing to lose. So.
Yeah, honestly, Matt, if you lose to Adwin, I would be like,
you have more to lose than to win here.
Honestly, yeah, you lose to Adwin. You better win. Honestly, I hope for your sake you win. You better win.
That would be an embarrassment. I'm not gonna.
Make sure all your lineup. Make sure your matchups is good. Analyze. Do the.
I'm riding. I got the best possible lineup
in.
You gotta do. I'm riding with it. Whatever happens, happens.
No. Make sure everyone's good though. Make sure everyone's good.
I'll call up Justin Jefferson before. Make sure he's fine.
I have a question for Matt Levine. Are you playing the Steelers defense over the Cowboys defense?
I don't know. I was going back and forth. Steelers defense has a good match against Carolina, but Cowboys didn't do very well against Houston last week, which was surprising. And then Jacksonville's been kind of playing really well recently. So
what about the Ravens playing against the Browns?
I don't know. That's what I said earlier. I'm still deciding with my defense.
Tough decision. Don't
but
think about it.
Everything else is set in stone.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want
to overthink it, man.
Oh God.
I will say, as much as you don't want to as much as I do not want to sit here and say good things about the person playing quarterback for the Browns, he's gonna have a good week eventually. You would think, and for how the Ravens secondary has played the last couple of weeks,
I also thought that was Russell Wilson though.
Yes, but
don't compare. No, come on.
Hey, Russell Wilson had a big game this past week. He scored over 20 fantasy points.
Yeah, they got concussed.
Who do we think is a better quarterback? Regardless of forget every single thing that's happened and take context out of it. Who would you rather have? The current Browns quarterback or the current Broncos quarterback?
I mean, honestly, neither, but that's not really a here.
That's a great question. That's a really good question. I'm not
Taylor
gonna.
Heineke.
I don't want the Broncos one. That's all I'm going to say.
I'd go Browns. I hate to say
Answer in
it.
the
I'd go
comments.
Browns.
Answer in the comments.
Can I choose neither? Is that an option that I have?
Am I going to get canceled for
Maybe.
All right, guys. Thanks for being on. Hopefully, we'll see you in a few weeks if you're the champion. We'll talk to you later.
See you next week.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me on again.
Of course.
See you guys.
All right, let's get into our matchup. Unfortunately, we are in the last place game essentially because we screwed ourselves over. As you can see, we are both at 4-10. It really comes down to this. I don't even know what to say. I'm depressed about this season.
Yeah, say we did. Yeah, I mean, our last matchup was a dud matchup. You won, but it was garbage.
It was
82 to 79. That's a terrible.
That's
fantasy.
awful.
I don't even want to look at it anymore. So we can go into ours. This isn't projected to do much better. Damian Pierce is going to be out. I haven't replaced him in my lineup yet, so that should up my projection a little, but still not looking great. And similar to kind of the matchup we were talking about earlier, the projection is so close regardless. Like it's not something that I feel comfortable like either way or like it's gonna really go. So I don't know. Interested to see how this week goes. But the winner of this matchup is, or the loser, I guess, rather more importantly, the loser is effectively last place. Now, there is a chance if Yusuke loses out, then the loser of this matchup could potentially overtake him. But in reality, the loser of this matchup is going to be last place. So this determines it. It's unfortunate that we have to culminate this podcast with the two of us fighting
for last.
Fighting to see who isn't the worst at fantasy football. But
it's depressing. I really thought I had a good shot at the playoffs for a majority of the season too. Until 2 weeks ago, too.
I mean, I thought Chubb and Jonathan Taylor was going to be enough. It wasn't. Kirk ended up doing. I mean, I don't know. Terrible season for me. We're going to try to do better next year. Hopefully this year doesn't end with last place, just so I don't have to put that on my mind again and be a multiple-time last place finisher.
Both of us, it would be multiple time now, so
yeah, really
it would not be a good look for either of us.
But you know, maybe we'll tie. Can we tie?
Nah, dude, I would be fine with Co. We split the $20 each.
If we tie and Yusuke loses, then we could both. If we tied and Yusuke lost, we could both finish with. I guess we both pass him because we have a tie now. But if he loses out, still the tie is like above.
Realistically, we won't tie. That's it. Let's go on. It's not gonna happen. All right, as we mentioned earlier, this will most likely be our last episode until the end of the championship. We'll be back with the winner. We hope to see you then. Thanks for joining us for most of the season. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yep. See you.